We have the story from Business Insider, how a transgender Ukrainian man escaped Russia's invasion. I painted my nails violet and wore mom's shirt to look more girly. We then have this story from TMZ. Transgender woman, I'm fighting 2 wars in Ukraine, fears Russians and transphobic Ukrainians. So this is interesting because in the story about the trans woman in Ukraine, because of the war, they announced if you were 16 to 60-year-old man, you could not leave the country.
Right.
Legally in Ukraine, a trans woman is a man. Whatever your political opinion is on it, that's the view of the Ukrainian government. I do think it's funny that the left is just like totally on board with Ukraine. I get it. The Russian invasion is a bad thing, but you got like Nazis there and it's like the government is transphobic, but whatever. So you have this story where this trans woman is like, I'm a woman and I can't leave because of this rule. Then you have this other story about a trans man. So this person is born female, paints their nails and wears feminine clothing to be able to escape the country. To me, it's interesting. I'm wondering, there have been a lot of males who fled Ukraine as well as women and
Just
children.
Just like the Titanic.
Right. I mean, and I understand if someone's like, I don't want to fight in a war and they want to get out, but this is like your country is being invaded. The interesting thing to me is I understand these are 2 unique individuals and we're not talking about a group here, but it is fascinating. The 2 stories we get out of here are about a biological male and female, a trans man and a trans woman, both trying to flee the country and not stay and fight for it.
Yeah, I mean, the headline's interesting, isn't it? Fighting 2 wars. Actually, they're trying to not fight any.
Right. Right, exactly. Not the gender war, not any of it.
We talked about Lia Thomas, I think is how it's pronounced. This is the biological male trans woman who's competing against females in college swimming.
At UPenn, yeah.
Yeah, at UPenn. But there's also a trans man, so someone born female who got top surgery and competes against
Isaac Hennig.
Isaac Hennig
at Yale.
So my issue is it's I mean, obviously the Ukraine thing is a situation of war, life and death.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, anybody who wants to get out and is worried, we should help these people. When it comes to the college swimming thing, my question to the left, which they have no answer for and they just insult me, is, okay, so if you're saying that a trans woman is a woman and then should be allowed to compete in the women's division, because the women's division is a social construct division, right? It's a yes. Okay. Well, Isaac is a man identifying as a trans man. Therefore, they shouldn't be allowed. And they say, but Isaac's not taking testosterone.
Right.
I said,
that's the excuse.
So we're talking about biology or society? Pick
they
one.
don't know.
Well, whatever suits
Right.
the argument.
Well, it all flows in one direction. Like whether it's a trans man or a trans woman, they're both trying to find a way to leave the country. The trans woman says, but I'm a woman. You can't say I'm a man. The trans man says, I'm going to paint my nails and wear women's clothing to
What
try
I
and
don't
get out of the
understand is
country.
why is the person who is female but trans as a man, why do they have to do anything? Like, if they're a female, why wouldn't they just walk over the border?
So the interesting
I mean,
thing,
if
well,
because
Because
the
the nail
thing
polish is
is,
magic.
if you're a female, right, you can have short hair and you can. I know this is crazy, but you can wear a suit. You could wear button-down shirts. You could wear men's shoes if you're a female, and it doesn't change anything about being female.
I even heard that
you
women
can even
can
keep
be
your
gay.
fingernails super short
Yeah.
and unpainted,
I
and
don't-
you still are female.
No, but I think one of the big issues in the culture war is that, whatever our faction is, we assume too much about the other side's beliefs and understandings of things. I think it's fair to say that they don't think that a woman can have short hair or do these things.
Well, no.
If a young girl says, I want short hair and I want to wear blue jeans, they ask the child if the child is trans.
Right.
They don't
Now
say,
they do.
Yeah, they don't say, well, maybe you just like short hair. It's become like if you act. This is the strange thing to me about it. Maybe I should understand that if you have a child who says, a little boy says, I like dolls, then all of a sudden you have conversations about whether the child's trans when the child doesn't have an understanding of sexuality because they're prepubescent.
Right, and they just like stuff.
Right.
And you
Yeah.
don't even know why they like stuff. Like maybe they like dolls because they like the color or the texture, or being able to tell stories with dolls.
Stick it in their trucks. I don't know.
Sure, stick in their trucks, whatever it is.
Right.
But we don't ask children what it is that they like.
Yeah, sometimes the joints of the doll or what makes the doll cool.
Yeah, they're
doesn't have
kinda
to do
cool.
with like if it has blonde hair as a girl.
I
or a
had one
boy.
where you press the button on the back and she winked at you.
Oh, wow.
It was Western Barbie.
Matt Walsh brought this up after the Dr. Phil thing he did. He said if if a little boy or his son came to him and said that he thought he was a girl, he said we'd ask him why. And often you'll hear him say things like, "I want to play with dolls," and he was like, "But boys can play with dolls too."
Sure.
It's funny because hearing Matt talk about stuff like that, that's like that used to be progressive.
That was the original, that was like much the feminist perspective, right? If you're a woman, you can dress and behave however you want. You can dress the way men stereotypically dress. You can behave the way men stereotypically behave. You can do any of that, right? You can sleep around. You can do whatever. It's fine. And now we've switched all that up. We have taken the gender stereotypes and embedded them further.
Yeah, and it seems like the modern progressive left's worldview is that there are social behaviors intrinsic to sex. Isn't
So
it
bizarre.
Yeah, I'm
It's so bizarre.
I'm just confused by it. I don't understand.